I think also too, like it's very good and useful to have purists as well,
Mm-hmm.
because like when it comes to fighting, like survival, defend yourself, you should be
Mm-hmm.
well rounded. You should be able to punch, kick, elbow, knee, headbutt, bite, whatever, firearm, edge weapon, impact weapon, grappling, all that. You should be rounded because the fight can go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you should be able to use your whole body, your tactile, your fast twitch, your reactionary, your visual, your audio, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, like certain arts, like just Muay Thai, just boxing, they are specialists in that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's good to have the purists who don't muddy the waters, because when you want to go refine, like for example, like a guy like GSP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like GSP was one of the first guys, I believe, who sought out specialists in individual arts
Mm-hmm.
that he went to like, I need to clean this, I need to clean that, and clean that. I remember
Mm-hmm.
hearing a podcast with Professor John Danaher, and he was saying that he was teaching GSP jiu-jitsu, but
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't like thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And then GSP said something to the effect of, "Don't teach me jiu-jitsu, teach me jiu-jitsu for MMA."
Yeah.
And when they started making that shift, so again, fighter objective, then
Mm-hmm.
he started seeing the results, right? So it's like, I think purists are good, but purists need to like, the only thing with purists is sometimes purists think that their shit is the best, the end all
Yeah.
be all.
Yep.
And I think that's just from a lack of swimming in other pools.
Yep.
But it's like everything has its place. Everything is got its place in its use. I
Mm-hmm.
just think people need to like just understand, like none of us is meant to know everything.
No, it's
Ever.
impossible. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
it is, nothing is the best. Nothing is the best. It's like you can make it work or you can't make it work. And
Yeah.
it's like I tell my students sometimes when they doubt a technique or like, oh, I don't know if I could land, I'm like, okay, listen, when you're new at something, yeah, you're not going to be able to do it well or land
Mm-hmm.
it. But trust the process and train it. Train it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to make it your go-to, but you should understand how it works, because if anything, understanding how it works will help you defend against it.
Yes.
Even if you don't like the technique, right? But I also tell them, I was like, listen, man, does a jab work? Does it land every time?
No.
Can everybody throw the jab? Can everybody land the
Yeah.
jab?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it works. But we know it
But
doesn't
what
work
is a jab?
sometimes.
But here's the other one. What is the jab? Because there's so many
Exactly.
different variants of the jab, and my jab is going to look different than yours. And I'm going to throw 5 different types of jabs, or let alone 10 in a fight, but it is still a jab. But none of them are going to look the same.
Yep. And you said it. So like, that's another thing we use too. Like when I'm trying to teach my students how to train themselves, I'm like, okay, if you go home to train something, right? Use the what, when, where, why, how, and who, right? So like the what, that's the tool. What's the tool of choice I'm working on? When, that's the timing. Where, that's the target. Why, that's the tactic. Who, that's the opponent or objective. Like meaning like self-pow or not self-pow, right? The how is the mechanics, right?
Yep.
Like you don't just go to a bag and just work the jab. Like, okay, what kind of jab? Like you said, what kind of jab?
Yeah.
Right? Is it a speed jab? Is it a stiff jab? Is it a posting jab? Is it a, you know what I mean? Okay, so how? Why? Like when you start breaking shit like that, that's the intellectual part that people miss, right? It's like but some people don't work like that, and you can't make them work like that. But by you being in their corner, by being in their camp, you make them aware of that at least. You know what I mean?
And that comes from the experience part.
Yeah, and it's just like fucking just listen to people, man.
Yeah,
just listen to people. Don't act like you know everything.